Let's do it with Miami Dolphins.
The pressure, he's in trouble. Loses the football. Touchdown! Bryant.
You have got to be kidding me.
Jalen Waddle. It's a Dolphin touchdown.
Throwing deep upfield on the near side, man open, touchdown! Looking deep, he's got a man, touchdown!
The run from Tua Tagovailoa.
Touchdown!
He's going deep! He's got it over the touchdown! He's in! Touchdown! David, tell me if you want to see it.
Tagovailoa trying to make up for it. Fire to the end zone. Touchdown!
Beautiful day to be a Dolphin fan. 1, 2, 3, hit! Let's go!
What is good, Fin Nation? What's good? It's your boy Reason, and we are back here for yet another one. I hope everyone is having an absolutely fantastic start to their weekend. It is Friday night, baby. You already know what time it is. Everyone, welcome to the show. We are going to preview the Dolphins and the Bills. It could be a potential snowball. I mean, we're talking, let's go back to all you old heads, the 1990 divisional playoff round in Buffalo, where the Miami Dolphins actually ended up falling to the Bills. I believe the score was 44-34, if I remember correctly. Marino threw some picks. Thurman Thomas and the Bills' short passing game made us alive. Tomorrow, it could be Snowball 2022, baby. So, Knight says, yo, Reason, what up? Are you ready for Noah to break out as a safety? Brother, I'm ready for Noah to break out. All right? I think we're all ready for, something. Good Lord Almighty. And the cool thing that they do down there, if you guys didn't know what they do down in Buffalo when they get these big snowfalls, is they actually incentivize fans to come out and remove the snow by offering free tickets and such. So, we're getting into the weather report because it looks like it's going to be snowing well into the evening. Please do me the huge favor, everyone. Smash the like button. Subscribe if you are new. We are on our way to 11K. We're at about, 10,240, I believe. So, 60 away from 300 past 10K. Let's get to 11K. Appreciate all of you and your support. If you'd like to donate to the channel, as always, you can do so through the Super Chat. You can also, as you'll see down below, you can go visit FinsideTheNFL.com for merchandise and more. That supports the channel. You can also donate, paypal.me/Finside. You can also become a YouTube channel member or Patreon. That's going to be getting you access to insider information that I get and relay to you. On top of that, I have some things in the works for... I've been really finicky. I've had ideas and I've gone back to them, but I've got some things in the works for what I'm going to be doing for Patreon and channel member only exclusive content. So, at least going to be dropping something once a week outside of insider information that's specifically for channel members and Patreon, and that's in the works. I've been working on that behind the scenes, so I'm going to keep getting that together. You already know what time it is. Shout out to my boy. Where are you at, Foxing Around? Where's the homie Austin at right now? Shout out to the homie Austin, the Hulk to my Captain America over there, brother. I love it. I love it, man. What's going on, Nico? Haven't seen you in a minute, bro. Hope all is well. Dr. Draft. Let's give a shout out to all y'all in the chat. Duke Tomlinson, Barry Bailey, Jeff Creed, Knight. I see the homie Scotty Joe, Trey Murray, Derek Ryan, Shag Fins, J Rod, Angel Padilla, Nico, what's going on? The homie Scott Norman. I hope everyone is having a fantastic. Hammer, how you doing? Smash that like button on the way in, people. We got a big show tonight. We're gonna go over a lot of stuff, man. We're gonna obviously preview the game as usual, with all the usual trimmings that come with that in terms of look at the weather, how these teams compare. It's going to be interesting to see how they compare, especially if you watch this weekly, going back to what they look like in week 2 compared to what they look like right now. So, it's going to be interesting. I might actually bring that up. You know what I mean? Bring it up in the background and have it in the background and read off, because I just thought of that. That's actually a good. Let's see where these two teams stack up. On top of that, Louis Riddick. If you didn't see it, he was on Rich Eisen. He talked about Mike McDaniel and what he can do to right the ship. I want to go over that with you. People out here showing what other people are saying in terms of their breakdowns, in terms of the pros doing it. Well, let's show you what the pros do. If you missed it, I will play Dan Orlovsky and Ryan Clark's breakdown of what teams are doing and what the Chargers did really well to take away the passing game from Miami right now. Another thing, too, analytic guy, a guy that I follow, Warren Sharp, had a really good video, interesting thing about third down and such that I think we should all take a look at and listen to. Interesting also, our point differential, when you look at how this team is stacked up, points scored compared to points given up. And then true pass set grades for our offensive line. Going to be eye-opening for a lot of people. And yeah, we got a lot to go over. So please, shout out to New Attitude, Barry Bailey. Do me the favor, smash the like button on the way in. It really helps out with the algorithm. Appreciate all y'all. Let's get up there, man. Let's smash that like button. Let's let it know. There's how many of you in the room right now? There's over 80 of you in the room. Smash that like button. What's going on, Tommy? The South Florida Don. What's going on, Don? How you doing, brother? I hope everything is well. Hope you and your son are doing fantastic. All right, let's get into this now. We're just no rant tonight, and nothing really to rant. We about business. We about the business right now. All right, let's take care of business. We need this dub as a team. As a team, we need this dub, and we need it badly right now. Shout out to Juice. I appreciate you. All right, let's do this. Hopping into it. Oh, hold on. Let me get rid of that. Quickly. All right. Hopping into it. When you look at the injury report, Eli Campbell, Eric Rowe, they are out. River Craycraft, Tyron Armstead, Teddy Bridgewater, and Jeff Wilson remain questionable as of right now. So Wilson was limited. I think he's going to try to go, man. If you want my honest opinion, I think Wilson's going to try to go. For right or for wrong, I think he's going to try to go. I mean, we saw Armstead go last week, and if you watch the film, he wasn't his usual stellar self. It was clear that he wasn't fully ready. Anyways, continuing on. Everyone else, full participant. On the other side, they will be without Ryan Bates and Jordan Phillips. Jordan Phillips, key name, because ever since we got rid of him, that dude always comes up and shows up for every single time we face him. On Thursday, Stephon Diggs did not participate. He didn't participate, but I expect him to go. Josh Allen, everyone else full to go. So they're pretty much they're healthier than what they were when we first saw them, except there will be no Von Miller, I believe. Von Miller is out. So, I don't know what to say except, I mean, we got to make it work, man. It doesn't matter who's on, who didn't participate, we got to make this work. I'm like, the injury report to me, this is one of those weeks where it just don't matter. Right? Like, that's how I look at it. This is just one of those weeks where don't... Listen, you got to make it... You got to make it happen. No other way around it. All right. Continuing on, let's get in. And you know, usually I bring up the little graphic and everything like that every time we do the weather, but no. Today, we bring up the National Weather Service because this is some real ish. So let's look at what the National Weather Service is saying in regards to tomorrow. It's looking like it's going to be rain and snow and then heavy snow tonight. Tomorrow it's going to be heavy snow through the day. And then at night it's going to be heavy snow. Now, when you go to the detailed forecast, right? Let's go tonight. A chance of rain, snow showers before 9 p.m., then snow showers, then snow could be heavy at times. Some thunder is also possible because they're on lake effect warning, right? And anyways, Saturday, snow. The snow could be heavy at times. Some thunder is also possible. High near 33. Southwest wind 13 to 16 miles per hour. Chance of precipitation is 100%. New snow accumulation of 4 to 8 inches is possible. Thunder. Thunderstruck snow. Well, what did you know, eh? Anyways, thunder and snow, 100% precipitation. See, it's going to be... Okay, so there's going to be snow during the game. We got to hope the majority of the snow drops on Buffalo before the game and gets plowed out, and then we have like a light dusting through the game. I don't think this is good for any team. This is going to come down to coaching and execution. Who's going to have the better game plan? Right? This is a game where you keep it short, high percentage throws, and you run the football. But we'll see. We'll see. But it ain't going to be pretty in terms of snow. And just in case you might have missed the finish line, if you look at Tua's coldest games in his career, the 20-13 loss at the Broncos in 2020, the 56-26 loss in 2020 to the Bills, where he was 35 of 58 for 351, a touchdown, 3 picks. At Buffalo in 2021, when we lost 24-21, he was 21 of 39 for 205 and an interception, And then last year in Tennessee, 18 of 38, 205 and an interception. So, 2 of Tua's cold weather losses have come to the Bills. Now we might be mixing in snow. And the other thing you got to keep in mind here, guys, when you look at the forecast, okay, when you got a low of 29, but during the night it's a low of 26. So this will actually be Tua Tagovailoa's first official game in freezing conditions. So, and again, I read off all those games to also say this, against Buffalo in 2020, AVG was the only one who got off the bus, right? Against the Broncos, Bradley Chubb, who's now on our team, destroyed our offensive line, specifically Austin Jackson, and wreaked havoc that game. Tennessee. Last year, he was awful against Tennessee, and he was screaming, run the football with Duke, and we just didn't run the football with Duke. Anyways, a win this weekend is huge. We got to get that. Right? And you got to remember, Tua in those cold 4 games I mentioned, he's not only 0-4, but his passer rating through those 4 games is 61.4. And he's got 3 touchdowns, and he's turned the ball over 6 times. So let's hope we see a change in these conditions. And I'm going to be completely honest with you. And I'm going to look you dead in your soul, dead in your eyes right now and say this. I like being the underdog. I'm not, I honestly think we have a chance. I honestly, truly believe we have a chance. I'm not even lying. I really think we have a chance this weekend. I truly believe that. Honestly, I ain't just blowing smoke up your assholes. I think we got a chance. So, let's look at how these teams stack up. And before we do, let me pull it up just for comparison because I keep all my preview images for each week. Just so, hey, you ever have a time like this? Shout out to Patty for subscribing. Guys, smash that like button. 126 if you please. Do me the favor of smashing the like button. Let me get this up here. All right, here we go. Comparison. There you go. All right, here we go. Let's see what we got here. I'm going in blind. Baby. All right, we're going in blind. All right, so bring it up for y'all. This is how these two teams stack up heading into Week 15, and I will rifle off compared to how they were stacked heading into their matchup in Week 3, okay? All right, so you look in total offense. The Dolphins, right now they are ranked 7th. They were ranked number 2 in Week 3. The Bills, they were ranked 2nd in right now, averaging about 397.1 yards per game. They were ranked number 3 back in Week 3. Passing offense, the Dolphins are 2 in the NFL, while back then they were number 1, so really not much of a difference. The Bills, they were 4th back then. They are now the 6th best passing offense. So, I mean, you got, look at this, You got a passing offense that averages 277.9 on one side and one that averages 263.4. Now here is the biggest difference. Check this out. The Dolphins, their rushing offense. Let this sit with you. Heading into Week 15, as you can see in front of you, they're the 29th, averaging 89.8 yards per game rushing. In Week 3, they were 28th, averaging 75.5. The Bills, right now, they're the 8th best rushing offense. They're averaging 133.7. Some of y'all might say, well, those are only 3 games in. Stats can be blown up. 3 games in, guess what? The Bills were 14th, and they're only averaging 111 rushing yards per game. Now they're averaging 22.7 yards more per game. Let that sit with you. Scoring offense. Back in Week 3, the Dolphins were the 4th best. The Bills were the 1st best. Now, the Dolphins are the 9th best, and the Bills are the 4th best. Dolphins averaging 24.3 points per game, while the Bills averaging 27.2. When you look at sacks, the Bills have 28. The Dolphins 28. They're both tied for 10th in the NFL right now. Third down offense. The Bills are the 2nd best third down offense, 48.7 clip. In Week 3, they were the 1st best, so not much of a difference. The Dolphins, in Week 3, were the 6th best third down offense, and they were in the top 10 for a lot of the season. My friends, look at, they have dropped to 23rd. Excuse me. They have fallen. How the mighty have fallen. Not pretty. Total defense, the Dolphins, they were 15th back in Week 3. They're 20th right now. The Bills, they were 2nd back then. Now they're the 9th best. Look at the Dolphins allowing about... I want you to realize this. Look at this. I want you to look at this. Look at our total offense and our total defense. We are only averaging 17.8 yards per game more as an offense than we are as a defense. Look at the difference between them. But we're the 7th ranked offense, so you can't blame that for the offense. The Bills are the 2nd ranked offense. They're averaging 80 yards more, almost 80 yards more per game than what their defense is allowing. So, I mean, I want y'all to look at this right now. Look at the scoring offense. The Dolphins, they are getting about 24.3 points per game, 9th best in the NFL. They are allowing 24 points per game, only 0.3 points less, which is 22nd. Look at the differential. While the Bills, as a scoring offense, they're scoring 27.2 points per game. As a defense, they're only allowing 17 points per game. That's a 10-point differential. The passing defense for the Dolphins continues to struggle. It was 23rd back in week 3. It remains 23rd right now. It was allowing 255.5 yards per game. Back in week 3, it's allowing 242.5, so not much of a difference. Passing defense is 19th for the Bills right now. And it was 2nd back then. They're allowing 219.5 yards per game. Rushing defense, the 7th best going up against the 4th best. Back then, it was the 17th best going up against the 1st best in terms of Dolphins to Bills. So the Bills have risen from 17th to 7th, while the Bills have gone from 1st to 4th over a 12-week span. Obviously, because a lot changes in 12 weeks, right? Now, you look at sacks. 35 for the Bills, 9th best. 33 for the Dolphins, 13th best. You look at third down defense. The Bills, they are the 18th best third down defense, allowing a 39.6 clip. The Dolphins, 25th, allowing a 42.6 clip. That number, man, look at our third down defense in week 3 was 16th. Theirs was 19th. So they're around the same. We've fallen off. Takeaways, Dolphins have 12 as a defense, which is 28th. They have 22, which is 4th best. So they take away the football. We do not. And then giveaways as an offense, the Dolphins have 15, which is 11th best in the NFL. They have 20, which is 28th best. So a lot of discrepancies from where these teams were all the way back in week 3 to week 12. Sorry, to week 15, because 12 weeks will do that to a football team. So just interesting to look at where they are at the second time around. Now, it would have been better if they met in like week 11 and week 16, right? You know what I mean? Because you'd have a higher sample size for the first time they met compared to, and then the second time they met would be a similar sample size. So, as usual, let's get into my offensive and defensive keys to victory for the Miami Dolphins. Let's start off offensively for the Miami Dolphins. And, I mean, guys, this is how I'm seeing it. This is how I am seeing it right now. Offensively, you got to be prepared for bad weather, a.k.a. be ready to run the damn ball. All right? I'm not trying to hear excuses anymore. Well, this is bigger than Tua in the passing game. This makes our offense better. Okay? This makes our offense better right now. And Raheem Mostert's averaging 4.5 yards per carry. Jeff Wilson's averaging 5.4 yards per carry. Come on, man. It's not like these guys are averaging under 3 yards per carry. What does that tell me? A Jeff Wilson Jr. run and a Raheem Mostert run is worth 9.9 yards. It's a first down. So, come on, man. Let's get it done. I'm tired of it. We need to run the football. We need to establish this culture, man. We need to be smash mouth. You are not going to win anything in the playoffs or maybe even get to the playoffs if you cannot run the football. I don't know who we think we are, but we ain't that. Okay, Tua and his receivers. Number 2, they need to get back on the same page. We've seen the miscommunications. We've seen the errors. They need to be cleaned up. And we'll get into it later. Tua called them in for a film session and such. But they need to get on the same page. You know, it went from week 13 versus San Francisco 49ers, where Tua's missing routine open throws. It's all on Tua's shoulders. Tua's just downright awful. To last week, Tua starts out, 5 of his first 6 throws are on the freaking money, but no one's making the catch. And 2 of those should-be catches were on the first drive that would have extended the drive. What's crazy is, what people forget is on that first drive, okay, Tua starts out incompletion to Tyreek. That's fine and dandy. But then he got the stick, passed the sticks twice, and Waddle and Hill let him down. So we've gone from Tua missing routine throws, Tua missing the easy stuff, to now our receivers dropping the easy stuff. Tyreek and Waddle losing footballs in the lights. And because of that, Tyreek stops running. These guys got to get on the same page. I don't care if it's got to be. And what's better to get on the same page than being prepared for bad weather? Because it doesn't just mean run the damn football. It means you got a short passing game. Execute the short drags, speed outs, hook routes, stick routes. Let's see the short passing stuff. That's how you're going to be successful. Because I guarantee you that's what Josh Allen, and it's okay to be dink and dunk if it brings the W's to the board. Especially in our offense. When you want to attack the middle of the field, you're going to have to dink and dunk if you're going to pass 36, 40 times a game, because you're going to have to draw everyone up in front of the sticks, in front of 5-yard line. You're going to have to draw these guys up into the flats. You're going to have to make them respect the short stuff and respect the running game so you can eat over the middle of the field if that's what you want to do. But I would recommend the majority of the stuff comes from running the football and passing predicated off running the football, i.e. play action, RPO, short stuff, quick speed outs, flat routes, drags, shallow crossers, short stuff. And then when you get the chance and you see you've drawn them up, bang, throw past the sticks. And it don't got to be 20, 25 yards. Draw them up, go 15 yards past this, go 15 yards, 5 yards past the sticks, and you will see stuff happen. I mean, you look at last game, when you look at the film, we had them flowing to one side of the football, and ball game brought it up. You got to go to the other side, and we didn't. Execute. And then 3, especially in a game that's going to be snowy, that's going to be, who knows what's awaiting you. Stop taking penalties or giving up sacks, disruptive pressures on 3rd down. Again, right? I went over it on the finish line, I believe it was. When you go back to this weekend, the Chargers game alone, we were 3 for 11. Of those 8, we were 3 for 11 on 3rd down. Of those 8 3rd down failures, 4 of them were either a sack or a penalty. And you don't got to worry about Von Miller. So you're going to have to stop shooting yourself in the foot on 3rd downs. And we're going to get into 3rd down a little bit later here with Warren Sharp. He's going to lay it out for all of y'all. He's going to lay it out for every single one of y'all on 3rd down. So be prepared for bad weather, a.k.a. be ready to run the damn ball, and also be ready to pass off running the damn ball. Have the short passing game ready to go. I ain't trying to see us push the ball beyond the sticks, 20 times. 200 receivers need to get on the same page. Week 13, Tua's way off. Week 14, receivers let him down multiple occasions. Okay, and didn't allow the offense to get in a rhythm. Number 3, stop taking penalties or giving up sacks or disruptive pressures on third down. Shooting yourself in the foot. All right? Now, continuing on, let's get into our 3 defensive keys for Saturday night, tomorrow night. Remember, I'll be live before it. We'll be going over the inactives and everything like that. So I'll be live. Game is at like 8 o'clock. I'll be live at like 7:45ish. Expect me. All right. Defensive keys. X better show up against Diggs. I mean, I don't know what else to tell you. What else do you want me to tell you? What else do you want me to tell you right now? Right now, currently, Xavier Howard has 129.7 NFL passer rating when he's being targeted. He's allowed 669 yards on 41 receptions. He's been targeted 61 times. He's allowing a reception percentage of 67.2%. He's allowed 6 touchdowns. Now, he also has an interception and 7 pass breakups. But the thing here, too, is when you go back to Stephon Diggs versus Xavier Howard in week 3, Stephon Diggs was targeted 5 times against Xavier Howard. Xavier allowed 3 receptions for 47 yards, 3 first downs, but he had 2 pass breakups and he allowed no touchdowns. So I better see that Xavier Howard. I ain't trying to see this Xavier Howard that be slipping, allowing big plays along the sideline, and just getting eaten up. The pass rush needs to make Josh Allen uncomfortable, and the pass rush needs to get home. Throw this guy off, man. Listen. Last time when we played them, they had 93 offensive snaps. 93, that's unheard of. And they only managed 19 points. He was 42 of 63 for 400 yards and 2 touchdowns. 8 carries for 47 yards. Throw this man off. I ain't trying to see 300 or 400 yards put up against us, especially if it's snowing. Now, he had 4 sacks and 18 yards last time. You pressured him a bunch. And that's why he missed that key throw in the red zone late in the game. Because we were starting to get to him. Number 3, lock down the flats and in front of the sticks, especially in bad weather. Listen, we have been getting dinked and dunked on. And what do you think if it's snowing and if it's frigid and if it's cold and if the ball is getting slick? What do you think we're going to see tomorrow if they're passing with Allen? We're going to see Allen and that running back room using their legs. And we're going to see Allen taking the checks down to the running backs. And we're going to see screens and a whole bunch of short stuff to guys like Gabe Davis and Stephon Diggs. And just get the ball in their hands safely and let them do the work. That's what you're going to be seeing. And that's what we've seen the last 2 weeks. That's what we've seen the last 2 weeks. You're going to have to lock down the flats and in front of the sticks. You're going to have to show us you can do it, Boyer. You're going to have to show us you can do it. So X better show up against Diggs like he did in week 3. The pass rush needs to make Josh Allen uncomfortable and lock down the flats in the front 6. And I'm not even at a 4th. Tackle. Don't be out here missing no tackles. I ain't trying to watch these absolute shit shows of tackling displays that this team puts on. And, better not look like a clown show tomorrow. That's all I got to say. Especially because he's going to be slick. What's my matchup to watch? Well, I'm going back to what we did last week. Justice, have faith. Have faith. I'm going back to what we had last week. Instead of Herbert, we're going to who going to do more for their offense in bad weather? Who is going to do more? I mean, really, never mind matchup to watch. Player to watch is Tua Tagovailoa. I mean, I want y'all to realize something. We can go from not being able to beat them the last couple of years to potentially sweeping them, and not only sweeping them, but sweeping them in their own conditions. Tua can put to bed. Can you win the big game in December? You can put it to bed tomorrow, and you can put to bed, can you win in cold conditions? You got 2 things you can put to bed tomorrow, Tua. You can make the last 2 weeks become nothing more than short-term amnesia. And I'm not asking for 300 or 400 yards. I'm asking for high percentage, high efficiency with the football when you're asked to throw, and it doesn't even have to be past the sticks. It doesn't. I just need you to make throws to put the playmakers in position to make plays tomorrow if it's going to be snowy like that. I don't need you bombing it 20 yards down the field. I need you deadly from between 5 to 12 yards. I apologize. From the line of scrimmage to 12 yards. Hell, even give me line of scrimmage to 8 yards. Be deadly in those areas, and we gonna be good if we keep it simplified. To win games in these type of conditions, these simplified game plans is usually the most effective. All we need are the guys, put the ball in the playmaker's hands and let these guys do what they were paid to do or drafted to do. That should be his job tomorrow. Be the point guard. Distribute. I don't need you to attack the middle of the field. Tomorrow, we are going to have to show, you're going to have to get the quick outs. You're going to have to start, getting stuff that bends outside the numbers and breaks outside the numbers. You're going to have to start targeting the flats. You're going to have to start targeting these areas we haven't been targeting tomorrow. And you can kill. And we've seen Tua, up until we've seen them make the adjustments through the ADOT. We've seen Tua make the corner throws towards the sideline on the third level. We've seen him make the speed out throws to the sideline. We've seen him do the deep outs. We've seen the throws outside the numbers. Tua can make every NFL throw. We just need to adjust the offense to press him to make those throws. That's it. That's what happens when you have a system quarterback. So, if you want to throw out the alerts and the hot reads, bro, that's it. Read it tomorrow. The pressure's coming. Just make your hot reads, make your alert calls, and we'll be fine. And we will be just fine. I got faith. Now, I want to show you. Riddick, he was on Rich Eisen's show. And this is what he said, the Dolphin, McDaniel, and this is what he said about getting it right this week. We got a couple things to go over. Actually, you know what? Let's start off with we'll start off with Riddick, and then we'll go. I want to show what Warren Sharp is saying about third down, and then I want to show you guys Darren Orlovsky and Ryan Clark's breakdown from last week if you didn't see it, because people are out here showing Colin Cowherd like that man's reputable, and I'm going to show you some actual reputable people. So let's go through here. Here is Louis Riddick on Miami's offense, and he is just going to basically say verbatim what me and Martin and me, Ballgame, and Richmond have been saying. Here we go.
The conversation about the Miami Dolphins with their 2 losses out in the state of California is that they're less than. They're not. They're showing their true, if you will, selves. What do you make of the last couple weeks with Tua and this offense and this team in general?
Yeah, it's weird. It's weird with Miami, isn't it? That people seem to, like, when they're doing good, they poke holes in this football team and try and discredit any kind of success they have.
Sound familiar?
And then when they do bad, everyone wants to go, I told you.
Sound familiar?
I told you Tua was no good. I told you.
Sound familiar?
There's this weird fascination with this team. And I'll tell you what, look. I look at it like this. The past 2 weeks, I think there are some things that on a macro level need to be really looked at hard by Mike McDaniel. And then on a little bit more of a micro level individually, some players need to play better. There's no question about that. Macro level, on the offensive side of the ball, Mike McDaniel needs to put his foot up the rear end of his offensive line and say, hey, look, I came from a place where we ran the football on everybody. we ran it down their throat. We spent some money to get some better players in here on the offensive line, and right now on a consistent basis, we can't capture the line of scrimmage against a high school football team, let alone an NFL, good defensive front. That has to get better, and he has to instill that in them and get these guys coming off the ball, so where this offense is not so, quite honestly, Tyreek Hill dependent, big play, explosive play dependent. Tyreek Hill picks up a fumble out of a scrum and runs it down the field 60 yards, and that's how you're getting your points. Or a defensive back falls down, or Tyreek just runs past the guy because he's 4-2 in the 40, 4-1 in the 40, and Tua just lays it up there. That can't be their offense. Their offense has to be more well-rounded than that. And a lot of that falls on him. That falls on Mike, and it falls on this offensive line. You go up against San Francisco and their D-line. You go up against the Chargers, who haven't stopped anybody running the football since Brandon Staley took over. You go up against Buffalo this week, you better be able to run the football, or at least have them feel as though there is a credible threat to run the ball. And they can't. They haven't done it. He has to fix that. Number two, there was all this talk, right, this week about, well, Brandon Staley did something no one else did. He packed the middle of the field. He took away the inside throw. Every team does that. Bill Belichick was preaching that, Rich, back in 1985 when he was with the Giants. Back in 92, 3, 4, 5, when I was with him at the Browns. Every team tries to make you throw it outside and not give you the easy throws up in the middle. But if you watch the first couple of plays of this game, let's see. Tyreek has Alohi Gilman beat on a wheel route down the sideline. Tua underthrows it. So that's one. Two, Jalen Waddle has the corner beat on a dig route. He drops it. Third play. Tyreek is open on a little out route against cover 2. Comes in right behind the hook curl defender. Drops it. 3 and out. So it's like, okay, well, Tua sucks now, right? Tua can't throw. Tua can't play. Tua sucks. I told you Tua sucks. I mean, see, then that starts happening. Now, they throw the football to Tyreek way too much. And I get why they do, but it's got to have a little bit more – it's got to have a little bit more reason behind it, and I think they got away from that a little bit. And Jalen Waddle can't be forgotten in this offense like he was in that Charger game. So, look, I think there's a lot of things that they need to look at big picture. Tua's got to hit the gimmies when they're there. The offensive line's got to get its butt in gear. The defense, look, man, I mean, Brad Chubb, as much as I love him, you got to affect games. You got to put quarterbacks down. You got to put Justin Herbert on his back. I mean, Jalen Phillips, as good as they got to get him on the ground. Melvin Ingram, you got to get him on the ground. So there's a lot to go around here, more so than just, well, the Dolphins suck, and most of all, Tua's not as good as Justin Herbert, and I told y'all. But that's what happens with this football team. We'll see. They'll be up against it this week against Buffalo, who I heard you just talking about, Milano. Mm-hmm. This team, Rich, they don't fool you. Leslie doesn't try to fool you, and he'll tell you that. Leslie Frazier, D.C. They try to out-execute you. They try to out-tough you. Mm-hmm. Like, can you withstand it? Can you do what my guys can do for 3 hours? Can you stay in there? Can you stay in there? Can you keep fighting the fight? Are you going to be willing to when it's cold and this crowd just seems to be coming down on you, and it seems like the stands are moving in closer and closer and the wind starts picking up? Can you withstand it, or do you just start scoreboard watching and going, hey, when can we go up that tunnel and get on the buses and get the hell out of here?
Yeah.
That's their test this week. We'll see.
Catch the Rich Eisen Show.
I mean, Louis Riddick's right, man. And Louis Riddick's stressing a lot of stuff that we've been stressing. Running the football, the offensive line play, on key downs. He talked about it. And I wanted to show something from Ben Baldwin, guys. Just going off of what Riddick just told you and why he stressed the offensive line. Because some of y'all might be like, why is he stressing the offensive line? Well, here is how our offensive line stacks up on true pass set grades, like straight dropbacks, true pass sets. This is how we stack up. We are 31st. We have the same grade as the Houston Texans. That is not good, ladies and gentlemen. No matter how you want to cut it, that is not good. And, it's It's just not pretty, man. It's not pretty. Yeah, I just don't. That's why on true pass sets we're struggling. So, I mean, that is why Louis Riddick was talking about the offensive line. I mean, the metrics are backing him up, right? So let's get into what Dan Orlovsky and Ryan Clark really liked about what the Chargers did. And here's something we're gonna have to fix and adjust this week. Listen, I'm not about to sit here and show you takes from Stephen A. Smith, on football takes from Stephen A. Smith or Colin Cowherd or Skip Bayless. I ain't doing it. I'm going to show you football takes from people who know what they're talking about. All right? So here is what Darren Orlovsky and Ryan Clark had to say. Check this out.
Everybody's trying to figure out how all of a sudden Tua Tagovailoa doesn't have too much sauce. But we've seen a little trend the last couple of weeks that has shown why teams are playing better against one of the Miami Dolphins' staple plays.
All right, white boy question here. What's the best Jay-Z album of all time?
Reasonable Doubt.
That would have to be The Blueprint.
Number 2, The Blueprint. Reasonable Doubt, number 1.
So 4 plays at home. I want Miami Dolphins fans to pay attention to this. I guarantee you Mike McDaniel is. So bottom of the screen, everyone pay attention. We call that like a reduced slot, okay? Where the condensed slot's going to happen, and you're going to get that 2x2 end up split. You're going to get this wrap in and off the ball right there.
Look at all this space. This is what Mike McDaniel is trying to create. Because if you get this space, the speed get up the field, and now you can have Tua Tagovailoa, who is a great window thrower, find the space to throw it.
Exactly. So that's our first clip against the Detroit Lions. I want to attack the middle of the field. You saw that space that RC was talking about. You also saw the space in the middle of the field. Very similar look, right? There's that condensed slot. You're going to get that switch release again. Inside guy goes up, and then we're going to get Tyreek Hill down the sideline.
And once again, we have a bell corner here. Now we have a miscommunication between Hufanga and Charvarius Ward. And once again, Tua Tagovailoa with windows of space to throw the football.
And no one's near him defensively with all that room in the middle of the field. So I guarantee you Brandon Staley was like, we are not going to do that when we get those formations. Shout out to Ben Solak for all this stuff. Watch what the Chargers did on Sunday Night Football. There it comes again. There's that condensed slot formation up top. And what you're going to get is the off the ball, spray from inside, and then outside release again.
Now also, too, think about this. Here's what preparation does for you. We're going to see Mike Jones up top. He's not going to back off of the football because once he gets the motion, we're in man-to-man coming across. Watch the communication. They're going to go inside out, and now we're going to switch that route so Jalen Waddle has to run right into Jones, and we can be inside out on Tyreek Hill.
And that's the thing for me, RC. Offensively, I'm watching the Dolphins play. Inside leverage. Inside leverage.
Look at how many times you've seen Tua throw in that triangle.
That's exactly where the Dolphins want to attack. I want to ask you a question. I see that safety here playing that half the field. Why are they playing not only with that inside leverage, but also high?
Because what we're doing here now, right, we're trying to protect windows. We know that you're either going to get quicks, and if we don't get quicks, we're going to get a break 10 to 12. And getting that break 10 to 12, I'm in the perfect position, but he also cannot bend this route right now in between myself and the safety.
I love that. So there's that inside leverage that
they took it away.
The sticky coverage. That was earlier on in the game. Now I'm going to go to a little bit of the third quarter. You're going to see that same formation.
Now we're into the third quarter.
I've showed you 4 plays that looked exactly the same, and this is what we're going to get off the ball.
Also, what's the first thing that happened? We're going to see Asante Samuel Jr. He's going to move from 7 to 4 yards because they don't want the space on the outside in order to be able to fit these balls in.
So you're saying that Asante Samuel Jr. once started off right there, and then as that motion comes, he moves up on purpose to get that body close to him. This is what I see, RC, as they get off the ball. Look at that sticky coverage again. There's that inside leverage again, where that safety's playing over the top, and then there's that inside leverage by both those defenders, making sure that they cannot attack the middle field. Look at, I can't throw the ball in the middle of the field. Look at all that leverage that's getting played.
Also, we also have the leverage, but look at the awareness by the backside safety. Now this safety can be as high as he wants in case we get the sail route that comes here outside, but we have a safety pushing over the top to Jalen Waddle, also the sticky coverage inside here.
Man, so the Chargers defensively said, we are going to take away exactly what you want to do. I'm being dead honest. I think that is a blueprint that is repeatable by other teams. Mike McDaniel, I said this. I think you're a great coach. I want to see how great of a coach he is and the adjustments that he does with rub routes and outbreaking routes out of those formations.
Tua Tagovailoa was on his way to being in the MVP conversation. Brandon Staley said, let's put a stop to that and show you that you can stop the Miami Dolphins. Now, the adjustment they make next will tell whether they get into the playoffs or they don't. So for right now, the Chargers had a little too much sauce.
Ooh, too much sauce. You guys have too much.
So, I mean, like you see, so when people out here trying to just throw it on the quarterback, and we're sitting here and we're telling you it's a key adjustments, you're seeing it. Right in front of you, they were taking away the inside of the field and screaming, all you got to do is turn that stuff into outbreaking stuff we've seen Tua make all year. That's it. And we didn't. So, now you're going to need to see the flat routes, the speed outs, the drags, the shallow crossers, the rubs. You're going to need to see everything now. Some mesh concepts. We're going to need to see some stuff here now. Because you need to start driving teams outside. And also, you need to run the football. Running the football is going to draw the linebackers up. So, I don't know what to tell you. Right here, you got former players, a defensive and a former quarterback telling you these are key adjustments that need to be made by Mike McDaniel. Tua Tagovailoa doesn't call the plays. Tua Tagovailoa doesn't draw up the game plan. So, and you saw how they heightened, right? And another thing we're going to have to figure out as we go into here is third downs. I want you to watch what Warren Sharp from Sharp Analytics says here about us on third downs, because this'll really wake you up right here, because we're not even putting ourselves in winning positions on third down, and that's because we don't run the football. And look at how many times you see that fake toss not work and someone writes into a face. You know why? Because we're not running the football. So they're not buying the play actions. They're not buying the fake tosses. Look at what Fred Warner said after the game. We didn't expect them to run the ball, so we just focused on playing pass. The Dolphins must lower Tua's target depth. It's grown to insane rates. Okay? His target depth was 8.6 air yards weeks 1 to 4. Then it went up to 9.1 from 5 to 10. It's now up to 12.3. What do I mean by air yards? That's telling you all these routes are deep and developing. His target depth is at 12.3 air yards right now, when it was at 8.6 through weeks 1 to 4 and we were cooking. It's gone up 4 yards. So yes, key adjustments need to be made. So listen to what Warren Sharp says here to all y'all.
All right, guys, I want to talk about the Miami Dolphins, their depth of target, their strategy on early downs, and why I think that there is room for improvement. There are some things that need to be changed here. Look at this graphic. Okay, early down strategy, air yards per pass attempt on early downs on the x-axis. These teams are throwing the ball deeper down the field on early downs. This is over the last 3 weeks versus average distance to go on third down. So third and shorts, third and longs. Where are the Dolphins? You see the Dolphins? Not yet. Not yet. Not yet.
Look at that! Look at that!
The highest average depth of target on early downs over the last 3 weeks is the Miami Dolphins. Highest average depth of target, over 12 yards. The NFL average is down here at less than 8. They're at over 12.
We're 5 yards
way
over
higher
the
than number
average.
2, which is the Falcons. And as you know, the Falcons don't throw the ball a lot. When the Falcons do throw the ball, they tend to throw deep, but they don't throw the ball a lot. The Dolphins are out here having Tua chuck the ball down the field with frequency over the last 3
And that's
weeks.
not his game.
And the problem is it's resulting in third and really long situations to go, because these passes are obviously more difficult to complete. It's hard to complete passes that are thrown over 12 yards on average. If you watch the Monday night game, you saw the way that game started out. The first 3 plays of that first drive for the Dolphins were all passes. That's fine. We don't care if they're passes. But the first one was a 31-yard deep shot. Then it was a 10-yard pass. Then it was a 9-yard pass. I mean, all of these passes are down the field, and it's just difficult to complete passes like that. This depth of target has changed. This depth of target has changed over the course of the season. Weeks 1 to 4 on early downs, let's talk about just the first half now. Tua averaged only 8.6 air yards. Week 7 to 10, after he came back from his injury, those 4 games, he averaged 9.1 air yards. So a little bit deeper, but not tremendously. The last 3 games, though, not 8.6, not 9.1, but 12.3 air yards on early downs in the first half of games. Obviously, that's the highest in the NFL. Every single game, though, had a depth of target of over 11.5 air yards. Prior to that on the season, 0 games had an average depth of target of 11.5 air yards. So it's not just one game. It's not just one opponent. And these numbers are just the first half. So again, we can rule out garbage time, fourth quarter, they're down, whatever. This is just the first half. What is their strategy? Their strategy over the last 3 weeks has been to chuck the ball and push it down the field. Now, it's ironic that they're doing that when you're going up against 2 strong pass rushes in those last 3 weeks. In addition, your offensive line is beat up right now. Their offensive line is more beaten up than it has been earlier in the season. With Armstead beat up, he missed several games, and obviously they're down a number of other starters. So this team to be chucking the ball this deep, and it's not working, and it's setting them up in a lot of third and long situations that are obviously difficult to convert. What do you think is going to happen? Probably they're going to be in a lot of third downs and having to punt the ball. And sure enough, if we check out what they did, this is their first down conversion rate by week, skipping the games that Tua didn't play or got hurt in. And as you can see, the last 3 weeks, these are the lowest
plummeted
third down conversion percentages on the season. So their first down conversion rate on third down, lowest of the season these 3 weeks of any other weeks during the season. It's because they're averaging so many yards to go, and that's because they're throwing the ball so deep on first down. It was one thing before defenses sort of knew how to play these guys, but now that defenses are starting to play them and take away the middle of the field, which is where they like to go, there needs to be an adjustment. And in my opinion, part of that adjustment needs to be lower that depth of target from way over here on early downs, bring it back down here, and set yourself up for the ability to have high percentage passes on early downs. Get the ball into these receivers' hands. Let them do the work. In San Francisco, the biggest difference in San Francisco, look where San Francisco is. The lowest depth of target. Look at where Miami is. The highest depth of target. Obviously, Mike McDaniel came from San Francisco. San Francisco's offensive philosophy is high percentage passes, get the ball into these playmakers' hands easily, quickly, so the quarterback doesn't have to do a lot of work, so the O-line doesn't have to block too long, and so that these receivers that are really special and talented can do something with the ball after they catch it. And the Dolphins right now aren't doing that. The Dolphins are trying to throw the ball deep down the field. These routes need time to develop. The offensive line must hold up and protect. And Tua has to throw deep and accurate down the field. And those are challenging things for any quarterback to do consistently. So Miami, bring this back down. Think about what San Francisco was doing. Try to get the ball into Tyreek and Waddle's hands. Easier.
Look at that.
Make life simpler for Tua and the offensive line that's injured and struggling to pass protect.
Look at that. Look at that. Herbert and Purdy. Lowest depth of target. And these are the guys that everyone thought were balling out the last 2 weeks. And when I brought up all the passing charts, it showed how in front of the sticks they were throwing. And right there shows you again. Polar opposites. And look at what those offenses have been able to do to our defense. Sometimes, guess what? Not every game is going to be a 300 or 400 yard game where you just go bombing the football. Right there. I mean, there you go. Right in front of you. Right there. I just gave you 3 pieces from Louis Riddick Dan Orlovsky, Ryan Clark, and Warren Sharp that all show adjustments, run the football, and you need more high percentage throws. And what have I been saying? Right there. I'm being backed up by about some of the smartest minds out there. That's all I got to say. Okay? I'm not out here looking from shock jock DJs from FS1 to try and back up what I'm saying. So, holla at me, man. Holla at me. All right? Let's keep this rolling. We ain't done. Just some injury updates for all of y'all. Injury updates for each and every one of y'all. So, running Dolphins left tackle Taron Armstead said he will play Saturday at Buffalo, and running back Jeff Wilson Jr. said a decision on his status will be made closer to game time. Both were listed as questionable for the game, as was Teddy Bridgewater. Eric Rowe, Eli Campbell, and receiver River Craycraft are doubtful, and they're now officially out. Armstead, already playing through a pectoral injury, is also dealing with a knee issue, but plans to keep playing. Wilson, who left the Chargers game with a hip injury, said he's not sure if he'll play Saturday, and it depends on how I feel. The Dolphins medical staff will try to check off every box. They've been real patient, real understanding. If I feel like I'm ready to go, I'll go, but they will have to okay that. We've still got a couple more days to get it right and get ready. By the way, the Dolphins did land in Buffalo a couple hours ago, so they're safe. We've still got a couple more days to get it right and get it ready. Me and the training staff are doing everything in our power to be back. We're going to take the next couple of days to keep progressing and see where we land. He said when he sustained the injury, there was a lot of pain at the time. How much discomfort is there now? A little bit, but not a lot. We're moving around. Got out of the pool on the field after a day or two. It calmed back down. Wasn't as serious as we thought. That's a blessing. Does it limit his movements? Not really. Just a little limited at first. Nothing that's too alarming or concerning or season-ending, or I won't be myself. Wilson is averaging 5.4 yards per carry and 44 rushing attempts in 5 games for the Dolphins since his acquisition from San Fran. Whether Wilson can play or not, a big game will be needed from Raheem Mostert, who ran 7 times for 30 yards and 11 for 39 in the past 2 games. I'm not reading the right holes, he told CBS 4 after the Chargers game. Tua feedback. No surprise here. Tua Tagovailoa struggles the past 2 weeks after a sterling first 8 games of the season. Have elicited plenty of reaction this week from those in the national forum. Some of the feedback, mostly with former players who now work for ESPN. Marcus Spears, the former defensive lineman, his superpower was anticipation and accuracy, and now we're starting to see defenses take those initial reads away. I still think he's a good quarterback, but Spears said comparisons to the Chargers Justin Herbert were crazy. Herbert has got some offensive line deficiencies, and he's still able to get off platform and throw the ball at different arm angles. Conversely, Tua was struggling. We just went over that. Watch the football games, Marcus. Dominic Foxworth, the former defensive back and ex-president of the NFL Players Association, he's a good quarterback. When the situation is good, he can carry you. But the past 2 weeks have been exposing a bit of Tua. He's not going to reach those Patrick Mahomes level, which nobody's going to. You're expecting a little too much if you expect him to overcome the shortcomings he has. Tua's uncomfortable in the pocket all of a sudden. ESPN's Ryan Clark, the former Steelers safety, the last 2 games were the most important for Tua and the Dolphins, and he stunk it up in both games. In both weeks, Tua and the Dolphins have failed. Once again, the moment seemed too big, but then we just saw what Ryan Clark said there. Mike Tannenbaum, he said in terms of giving him a $200 contract extension, he said, I wouldn't do that yet. He has to be Drew Brees, and why did Drew Brees have a good career as a shorter QB? He had great offensive line. Taron Armstead is not the same guy. Austin Jackson is on IR. My concern is without an offensive line playing very well, his play hasn't been good enough. If you are building a team to win the AFC East, you've got to win December games in New England, in Buffalo. This is an opportunity to see where you are. Saturday in Buffalo and January 1st at the Patriots. Dan Orlovsky, the former NFL quarterback. I'm not overly concerned about Tua. I'm not overly concerned with their skilled players' inability to get open against the I am overly concerned with their skilled players' inability to get open against the Chargers man coverage. It's just as much no one was open as Tua had misses. I've said this about this Kyle Shanahan, Gary Kubiak offense before. The quarterback becomes so confident in the play call that sometimes they don't see the defense after the snap. When it doesn't happen, you can get impatient, and that's when you start to see some of the forces from Tua, which is what me and Martin pointed out, right? When his receivers were dropping the ball, he started forcing first reads. There was no one open against the Chargers. He has so much confidence and trust in the scheme and the offense he was throwing to covered guys. ESPN Steve Young noted Tagovailoa struggled against the Chargers man defense and the 49ers zone defense, and all of a sudden there are multiple kryptonites against the Dolphins. As usual, Tagovailoa gathered offensive teammates on an off day on Tuesday, trying to figure out solutions amid the team's offensive struggles. Tagovailoa runs those meetings and welcomes input from other players. Tua is always tough on himself, asking, what can I do better? Michael Dieter said, the leadership is good. McDaniel added new wrinkles to the offense this week, according to a player. ESPN's Orlovsky has implored the Dolphins to run directly at Bills' 192-pound nickel cornerback Taron Johnson, who was manhandled by the Jets in the running game last week. So there you go. If they're going to be bringing corners up to the line of scrimmage, Taron Johnson, target him. And another interesting thing I saw, too, for you guys, by the way, so it looks like Jeff Wilson and Armstead, I put money that they're going to go, obviously. And then, interesting for me, look at the point differential for the Dolphins. You look at all the other good teams with these records, the 10-3 Bills have scored 132 points more than they've allowed. Right? The Vikings, they've allowed one more point than they've scored. But, you look at the Niners, plus 120, the Bengals, plus 70. You look at it, and they're the Dolphins, plus 4. So, us and the Vikings are the worst. Got to get that number up, man. Right? And we went over that when we compared these two teams this tomorrow night. We are only scoring as an offense. We're scoring 24.3 points per game. But as a defense, we're allowing about 24 points per game. So, not pretty. Not pretty at all, man. So, gonna need to be better, man. Gonna need to get it done. This is a big, big game. This is a big game. You can get rid of a lot of the doubt, both in cold weather games, but also, right, we could go. I want people. Has this set in for any of y'all? Is this set in for any of y'all that we could really sweep this team? We could go from never beating these guys to potentially sweeping them. Let that sit in for a sec. My prediction, listen, I fought back and forth with it, and I'm taking the Dolphins, man. I think we're going to shock the world. I really honestly think we're going to shock the world. I'm taking the Dolphins, man. I don't think it's going to be pretty, but I'm taking the Dolphins. We gave these guys 93 snaps in great conditions against us in week 3, and they could only put up 19 points. What's going to happen when it's not so great conditions? Remember, we didn't have nearly as many snaps, and we outscored them. And Tua had the best throw of that game to Waddle. So, listen, I'm going with the Dolphins, man. I'm taking the Dolphins. I'm going to take the Dolphins. I'm going 20-16 Miami. I'm taking 20-16 Dolphins. I mean, come on. The first thing I know, hey, we got to win that coin toss and we defer right away. I know it's our night. Let me tell you that, huh? Okay? I know it's our night if that goes down. So, I have a feeling, man. I know Greg Russo's been good the last couple of games. He's been coming on a little bit. But, really, are we afraid of them right now? Matt Milano always plays well against us. We know that deal. But the Bills don't scare me, man. We beat these guys. We beat them. And we gave them all of that time on field as an offense, and they still couldn't get it done. Right? You look at how they barely got, Tua had a better game against the Lions than Josh Allen did. So, Listen, game's at 8:15 tomorrow. I'll be live around probably 10 to 8 o'clock. I'll be live tomorrow. We'll be live reacting to it. I think, I'm telling you, man, I got a feeling. I really do. I don't know what it is, man. I don't know what it is. Shout out to the homie Bear Juden with the $50 bomb. I appreciate it, man. And he says, let's go, let's get ugly and get that W. I think it's going to be ugly, man. That's why I'm picking 20-16. I don't think it's going to be pretty. I'm taking 3 touchdowns and a Jason Sanders extra point missed. That's what I'm taking. And for them, I'm taking 1 touchdown and 3 field goals. 20-16 Dolphins. Shout out to Justin Vanderberg with the $5 dono on top of that from Super Chat. He says, Sweep Central. Ladies and gentlemen, we have gone from not being able to beat this team in 3 years to now we can potentially sweep them in bad weather. The icing on the cake. I want y'all to think about that. We're going to beat them in heat, and then we can go beat them in their own weather, in that snow. Man, if we can beat them in the heat and we can beat them in the snow, I don't want to hear nothing about the last 2 weeks. And you saw what that Barry Jackson article said. One player told him there's been adjustments and wrinkles added to this offense, so let's see what the deal is. It is put up or shut up time. For McDaniel, for Tua, for this offense, for this team in general. Let's go. You contain Josh, we're good. Keep the passing game simple in bad weather, we're good. Let's go. I'm not letting Pyro be the Debbie Downer. I think we're going to win. When I saw listen, we all collectively last week, okay, on Sunday night, when we saw the whole crew pick the Dolphins from Twitter to YouTube, we all collectively, wherever we were, whether we're in the chat, whether we're live, what did we all say? We're screwed. Now we've gone to no one expects us to win. And what happens when no one expects us to win? We go out and get it done. So I'm taking the Dolphins tomorrow. I believe, you should believe. Listen, I'm not the biggest George Michael fan in the world, but you gotta have faith, baby. All right, let's go to the Limp Bizkit route and their version instead. Faith. Gotta have faith. And let's go out there and show that these bills are faker than a $3 bill, y'all. Another Limp Bizkit reference on top. Anyways, I appreciate all y'all. I will be live around 7:45, 10 to 8 tomorrow. Game starts at about 8:15. Be out on the lookout. Let's get it, baby. Let's get that dub. You already know what time it is. I will see all y'all tomorrow. I love each and every one of you. Smash that like button. Please smash the like button. Appreciate all of y'all. Fins up. I will see all of y'all tomorrow. Let's get this dub, man. Let's get, like Bear said, let's get this ugly dub. Appreciate all of y'all. See y'all tomorrow night. Fins up all day, every day, even beyond the grave in which we'll lay. I don't stop cheering just because a couple of losses. This team's 8-5, not 5-8. Let's go 9-5, and I ain't talking about a work week. Appreciate all y'all. Fins up.